Gentlemen and ladies, welcome back into the very best of the worst reality TV with your hosts, Kitch and Cassandra, taking you all the way with tonight's Married at First Sight, or should I say, Murder at First Sight. Okay, where are we?
It was a bit like that, wasn't it? Lots to unpack. So we might just start
Mm,
off with the easy ones. Olivia and Jackson and the shoe dressing again. It's the foot thing again.
yes. He's professional now. He must be choosing and helping her with every outfit.
Hmm. Well, I mean, they made me sick as usual.
Hmm.
I think I heard a line something like "little bubbles of happiness and butterflies and rainbows." Like, come on.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit too, high school, I think, a little bit. She's very high school, I think, in her actions towards him, but maybe they're just in that love bubble, as she says. Anyway, her green dress was gorgeous.
She does look good. She dresses well. I'll give her that.
Mm,
It's just I feel like, and we'll get to this later when we talk about some of the fights that were happening, but I kind of feel like any guy that doesn't like smash her face in on a daily basis is going to be the love of her life. So I am
mm,
still getting Bunny Boiler vibes. I think if anything
mm,
goes wrong, or God forbid, if Jackson actually wanted to break up with her, I think we would see a whole different side of her.
And I understand what you might be referencing. She's very, stand by your man, and is possibly overly love sick for him.
Or is it him, is my question, or is it
Mm,
anyone that treats her well?
yes, yes.
I feel like she finds having a male partner really, really important in her life. In fact, it may be the most important part of her life. And so
Mm,
she might be sacrificing other things like her self respect
yeah.
to have that, or she may even be playing a role, I think,
Mm,
to what she thinks is the perfect wife to keep
yes.
this man. But we'll watch this space. We haven't seen any sort of disagreement yet.
None. None. They're too cutesy, so cutesy. That teenage love.
But even teenage love, you do have
Oh,
disagreements, and I'm not talking about arguments.
mm,
So I feel like she's playing a role. There might be something that bothers her, but she would never say that because the perfect Stepford wife would not say anything.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I want some drama from them soon.
mm, me too.
Okay, who is next on the hit list?
Well, what about Anthony and Selin? Because they did their big 180 and went from hating each other's guts and not even being able to look at each other to suddenly, oh, since we've moved in together, there haven't been any issues.
Yeah. Super supportive, dressing the same, doing each other. Well, she did his tan last night, getting him ready for this dinner party, and then onto his hair tonight, and just being that super twinned couple.
It's too much. It's like it is a complete 180 and
Mm,
it's jarring. It's unnerving me a little bit. I feel like we've got the beginning and the end almost, but we haven't seen what happened in the middle to get there. But yeah, not much to say about them for that reason.
yeah, they just stared into each other's eyes, and it all came right.
Ugh,
Mm.
sure it did. Sam and Al, my favorites.
They are the little cuties. Again, he was trying his best at all times. They seemed to be getting on wonderfully. She looked beautiful in her blue dress. He knocked over the glass of wine, but she was saying she could never be mad at him because otherwise she'd spend her whole life mad at him, which made me think a little bit, was he constantly not he's not intentionally messing up, but she is still in that mothering role.
I agree with you. And the fact that he was kind of afraid that he would get roused at kind of made me think that as well. Like she is certainly
Yes.
the boss in that relationship, and yeah, probably the mother as well.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of her dress?
I really liked it. The blue ocean design, was it?
It is.
The
It's a swirly, and I took note of that because I have a dress that I'm quite sure is that exact fabric.
Oh,
Yeah, a similar dress, a
yeah.
alternate thing, but slightly different. It was David Lawrence or Marks or one of those brands. And the
Mm.
reason I was sort of surprised to see that is I bought that dress like before I had any kids. So that is a long time ago now. So it's a long way from this season. So I'm curious to know. I'll have to look on Insta, like who that designer is,
Oh.
or
But
has she worn a 10-year-old dress?
but it's like Zimmerman has done a season recently, and everything is very, 70s, the big billowing sleeves. So it's just that thing of fashion. It just keeps coming around and around and around and around.
Oh, for sure. It's not the style. The style is, whatever. It's the fact that I
Print.
think it's like, if not the exact fabric, very, very close. If it's a little bit different, fine. You're right. Fashions come and go. And that sort of blue swirly thing is, it's been done to death at times. But I feel like it's the exact fabric.
Wow. Okay, you need to dig it out,
I
Kay.
do.
You
Yeah.
do. I would love that. Get into that treasure trove.
It's a gorgeous dress. I mean, it doesn't fit me now, but you know how women have bags or
Oh,
wraps of clothes that they will never wear again, but they'll
yes.
never give away.
Never. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
lots of bags. I'm looking at them right now.
Yes.
Someday, I'll dust you off and take you out.
Yeah. Well, I won't because most of them are no longer even age appropriate, like little sequined, tiny tops with no backs.
Yeah.
But they're beautiful. They're expensive, and they're mine. Mine.
Yes. Yes. And it's memories as well. For me, they're just a memory. They
Sure.
take you
Let's go
back
with
to a
that.
place. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Look, every woman does it. We all have our reasons, and yeah, that dress is in there. So I'll pull it out and see if she's got that dress on Insta and check it out. Is it David Lawrence or Marks from like 7 years ago?
Nice. We're going to figure this one out. Um, who else was looking gorge coming in the door but Selina and Cody, and looking
Yeah.
very happy and bubbly with each other?
Again, because your theory or our theory now is
Mm,
that although they haven't voiced it, they are having sex. They're shagging.
definitely.
Definitely. Like,
Definitely.
yeah, you wouldn't remove hair off someone's bum
Oh,
crack if you hadn't
no way.
already seen them naked. That would be weird.
Or weren't planning to. Weren't you like, I want to do this for, a particular reason? Hmm.
That's super cute, loved up, which sadly for a show like this makes them a bit boring. So let's move on.
Yeah. Ella and Mitch, also gorgeous, looking beautiful, but a little bit of drama there between them tonight.
Yes. I don't think he's actually from the Gold Coast. Like, I know that part of Queensland pretty well because I grew up near there.
Mm.
I am going to make a prediction that he's actually from Logan. Now, Logan, I don't even need really to say. I think it rhymes with bogan, and it's like a big housing estate, I
Okay.
guess, for, I guess, quite low income people.
Mm.
And they have accents that are a bit like this, and that's what I heard from Mitch today.
Now, you have said he didn't speak much, and this is why we weren't getting enough Ella airtime. But tonight, he was speaking, well, not a lot, but he was saying all the wrong things when he was speaking.
And that's probably what
Oh
he says all the time,
my
especially if he's from
God.
Logan. That would be pretty stock standard. But I
Mm.
mean, some of the stuff was sort of almost borderline Andrew level. Like,
Mm.
it's your own fucking problem for being so insecure. I've already had
Yeah.
sex with you. You're on my fuck board. That's it.
He was so dismissive and almost just, yeah, aggressive towards her and just so dismissive. It was just heartbreaking to kind of watch because she really didn't go up against him because he was like, why would you want to be doing that for? Why do you want to be kissing? Like, who cares if we're together in 2 weeks? I was like, but you're married.
Yeah, yeah, nasty pasty. And I think, look,
Mm.
the drink of choice in Logan would be Bundy and Coke, Bundy
Mm-hmm.
rum, which
Mm-hmm.
is a dark rum. So I reckon he had a few Bundys under his belt because he seemed a little wasted.
Oh, loose lips wrecking those ships, eh?
I think so,
Mm.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm dying to see what happens when they go down the couch with the experts at the commitment ceremony because like just it was terrible.
It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
And she didn't even look that surprised. Like she looked a little shocked, but
Mm.
she wasn't horrified like, "Oh, I've never seen this side of you before."
Yeah. But you have said that Mitch is all about Mitch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he really, really showed that tonight. He just didn't care about her. And I just wanted to smack him. Again, I don't, not inciting violence, but you know.
We
Ah,
don't need the disclaimer on this, I don't
yeah,
think.
okay,
Like I
okay.
wanted to smack him too. But I am curious, Kate, do you have a fuck board?
Oh, no, no, I don't.
I don't either, but there was one time when my friend, a girlfriend, came back from overseas, and she was staying at my house. We were going to go and partay,
Hmm.
my share house. And before we went out, she actually wrote a list of all of the people that she had fucked in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, quite a lengthy, not her entire fuck board, but you know, a lengthy list. No, sometimes no names, just like, oh, the chef from Paris or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And she had a bit of it, like this is so naughty, but she had a little bit of like a ranking, like how good the night
Ooh.
was. Anyway, we go out, she picks up. We had this kind of smelly mattress that, in the lounge room if people wanted to shag, our guests wanted to shag. So they
So
shagged.
considerate. I love this.
Yeah, yeah, it was called The Mattress, of course, because we're so original. So anyway, she had a big night. She picked up. That's great. I can't remember who left. No, he left first, and strangely, he
Mm.
knocked on my door to say goodbye, but didn't say
Ooh.
goodbye to her. Yeah, I know. That's not even part of this story. So he left, and so we're like hungover, like making some coffee and all that stuff, and we see on the table, on the dining room table, the fuckboard list, and he had written his name on there, and he wrote, "What a great fuck."
Oh my God. Excellent. I love
So he
that.
saw her fuck list from Europe and put his own name on.
Fabulous. And then she can, take a photo, get it printed, put it up in lights.
That's what I was thinking of when Mitch was talking about his fuckboard. I'm like, I wonder, because, I don't think he can use a computer or anything really. He'd maybe just
No.
scrawl it down on a bit of paper on the dining room table for everyone to see.
I'm just wondering, like, when you said it first, I'm thinking like a vision board, and you've got all these beautiful pictures of these men, and you're in the ocean, and then there might be a foot in your face.
No, that's your fuckboard,
That's
the
mine.
vision board, the mood board.
The mood board. Oh, it's real moody.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, he was gross. I'm off
Yes.
him. I always
Oh,
was.
so off him. Oh, I'm so glad that Ella spent the day at the beach on Valentine's with Brent. Well, am I actually after tonight as
Mm,
well? But look at let's get into them in a minute.
okay.
But first we'll have Dominique, the Dominator, and Jack. Um, they were walking in pretty confident as well, looking good, pretty happy. And I liked it. Dom was trying to get to the bottom of everybody, like really try to suss everybody out. She'd apologize to Anthony,
She
but
did.
she was saying. I'm not a bully and I don't want to call people out. But then we just had that flash from the other episodes or the upcoming episodes going, I don't like you and I don't like you. And I just wonder about her lines between being truthful and then being overly aggressive. I'm waiting to see how she pans out.
I can't wait for that episode. Even if it's like a tiny clip, I will love that to death. Yeah, she said something along the lines of like, I would never want someone to feel isolated, especially in a group
Mm,
setting.
mm,
So I was waiting for her tonight to make someone feel isolated in a group setting because that would have been more fun to call her a hypocrite straight away. But she didn't
yes.
really, and we'll go into that
Mm,
um, soon. But she was very intelligent, and oh look, I'm going to do a spoiler.
go
She
on.
did say that Andrew was like Tony Robbins with all his speak, and I'll
She
remind
did.
you
She did.
that's exactly what I said in like episode 2.
Exactly. Exactly. I told you you were brilliant at this.
Amazing. So I'm on Dom's side tonight because I feel like we have the same opinion of Andrew. Like she picked it up pretty quickly. At that
Yes.
time, she hadn't seen the footage that we've seen.
Mm. I know she is good. She's really trying to take everything in, but she was still patting him on the back, and I just wanted to smack everybody in that room when they were just giving into his, puppy dog, no, his crocodile tears. I'm like, oh. But anyway, we're not talking about them yet. We're still talking about Dom and Jack, who were just being tight. They were being good. Didn't actually see much of Jack tonight, and his, well, dare I say, cute laugh.
Yeah, his unique laugh. Well, we're
Unique.
almost at Andrew and Holly. But what about Tamara and Brent?
Wow. Well, they couldn't even get out of the house, could they, without wanting to murder each other? Um, I don't know. I wanted to ask, do you think there are some sneaky cameras, at certain, not sneaky, like they know they're there, but the footage of them fighting before they went to the dinner party wasn't the normal type of camera work that you see on Married at First Sight. It was a bit like grainy and a bit hazy, and I kind of thought, did they just manage to catch this clip on, the camera that's in the teddy bear on the bench or something, you know?
Well, on the Twitter, on
Mm.
the internet, on
Oh
the
my God,
interweb,
on the interwebs.
there's some jokes. I think they're jokes, but they're talking about the iPhone cameras that are placed around the place. But I just don't
Um,
see how that would work when they've got a battery life of what, 15 minutes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. And how would you switch them on and off? Like they would have to do that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or can they go, oh, there's like the heat censored, and when they can
Oh.
feel people getting really riled, like, quick, turn it on.
Yeah, there might be a control center where they,
Mm.
yeah, look, I really don't know, but maybe how's your letter writing going?
I'm up to number 6. Thank you.
Maybe
I'll add it.
maybe ask that question and just get some clarification because with COVID, you couldn't really have camera people around all the time if it was, if it was the bubble situation.
Mm.
Don't know what restrictions were on whilst they were filming, but could have been bubble. So they would have needed a teddy bear or an iPhone camera.
Yes. But we caught the drama nonetheless. So, who do you think is being the most dramatic about it? Like, or is it just one of those petty things that they're in tiny apartments and they're just, small living space? Are they just grating on each other?
Well, here's my take on it.
Tell
If we
me.
go back to the last commitment ceremony, remember I described
Mm,
Tamara as looking like a battered wife.
yes.
And I had a disclaimer that I was not accusing Brent of being the person being the abuser.
Mm,
Now I am. Now I'm
mm,
saying that his mood swings, I'm not saying he bashes her up or anything, but his mood swings and his really quite strong enunciation, is that the word? Like the
yeah.
way he speaks.
He's not soft spoken in any way. Not when he's not composed.
That's right. He can be soft-spoken, but
Mm,
he does seem to have that. I mean, I'm a non-Anglo-Saxon person, and, I do find that Anglo-Saxons are less fiery than Europeans.
mm,
That's a huge generalization, but that's just how I feel. So he does have that sort of European fieriness that Tamara just might not be used to. So
yes.
I can see his side of it when he says that, he's just talking, he's not yelling or calling her names or anything like that. But
Mm,
if you're not used to that tone, it comes across as aggressive. And so
mm,
that's why I think she was cowering a bit at the commitment ceremony. I think she is a little bit on eggshells and afraid to say certain phrases because she might get a reaction from Brent.
mm.
So I think dead in the water, this will not work.
Oh, it definitely won't work. It definitely won't work. I was trying to gauge from that clip that we seen, the fight that we seen, and what he was saying as well, and trying to, listen to both of them and go, was she screaming at him too? And they just didn't catch that. Because she was screaming at him a little bit in the apartment.
Yes.
So are they both just riling each other up? And you're right, it's I don't think it's gonna work, but um it was interesting to see her knowing that she felt that people didn't see this other side of Brent, to then when Holly comes in to not support her in the same way as well, not go, oh, there might be something going on behind your closed doors, like she felt is going on in her house.
That's exactly right. They're in the same position. They're saying the same
Same
things.
thing.
And
Oh,
yet she didn't believe Holly and was asking for some sort of evidence, but wasn't asking
mm,
Andrew for any evidence.
yes. It
Oh,
was
so bad.
so frustrating, irritating, and disappointing to see. And I was thinking, was it because, they had been given out, no, when I say given out, they had been chastised by the experts last week, the group, for not supporting Anthony. And were they then overly super conscious of that and unconsciously supporting Andrew when they shouldn't have been? That's the
There's,
only thing I could put it down to. I really
oh,
didn't understand why the group was immediately being sucked in by his bullshit and his
yeah.
crocodile tears. Oh my God.
I saw that scene as different to the one from Selin because Selin was really only talking to the women.
Mm,
What was different about this dinner party when Andrew was boohooing, there I said it,
yeah.
was that it was the entire group.
Yes.
And what tends to happen when it's the entire group is whenever one sort of opinion is voiced, then that's the collective opinion.
Mm,
And even though Dom didn't agree with that, she didn't say anything at that time, really.
no.
She wasn't making her Tony Robbins comments or stopping anyone talking in that group because when you're in that group situation, it's very hard to go against the group.
Yes.
So that's how I saw a bit of those reactions. But I thought Tamara and Olivia were particularly disappointing.
Oh, yes. So disappointing, like heartbreakingly so. And maybe that brings it back to what you were saying earlier about Olivia. She'll stand by any man, because it's to be that perfect Stepford wife. And with Tamara, but Tamara, I couldn't understand it considering she was experiencing the same thing and
It,
felt she wasn't unheard, or she was unheard.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. She said the exact same thing.
Mm,
But I am disappointed in Tamara, but I still like Brent saying things like, this is one of many situations. And he said he's living with a tyrant and,
mm,
making a big deal about the fact that he changed the time that he goes to the gym to suit her. Like,
yeah,
how many women have changed every single thing in their life to suit their family, suit their domestic situation? Like changing a
yeah,
gym time, like welcome, that's tiny. You got 50 million other changes to make once you have children and a family.
yeah.
He just seems so frustrated that he had to compromise at all
Mm, yeah, absolutely.
and was
It's
voicing it because that's what Europeans do. We don't hold back.
Yeah. Let it out, let it out. But I can completely see that if she's never dealt with somebody or had that experience where somebody is so aggressively forthright in their opinion. Is that how to say it? Like he just thinks he's telling a story, but
Yeah.
he sees him as shouting and screaming at her.
Yeah, I deliberately didn't use the word aggressive when I was talking about his tone because I
Mm,
think it's kind of overused and it's not
mm,
really strong enough to be called aggressive.
yeah.
But I can't really think of the right word. But absolutely, if you're not used to that
Mm,
um, sort of fiery speech, you would be. I think she's afraid. I think she's
yeah.
living in a bit of fear,
Yeah.
emotionally unsafe, like Holly said.
But then I almost felt like she was stealing some of Holly's words after she had gone to speak to her at the dinner party and find out what was going on. And when she came back and had the argument with Brent in front of Al and Samantha, um, I felt like she was using the exact same words that Holly had said, but she hadn't heard them when Holly had spoken them or
Pretty
hadn't been
much.
sympathetic to them. Yeah.
Yeah, she had no empathy.
No
Yeah, she was pretty
empathy.
much describing the same scenario that Holly had
Yeah.
just described. You're absolutely right.
Oh,
Yeah.
so frustrating to watch because I don't know, did anyone say, I think maybe the experts said it, like, where was that sisterhood or where was that support in general, of just listening to somebody else's point of view and not all immediately jumping on her going, what have you done to this poor broken man?
Oh, they
I
wanted
just,
receipts. Like they wanted
oh,
evidence and
yeah.
specific scenarios and details that
Mm,
no one asked Andrew for.
yeah. No one. Or even, well, I suppose Selin was giving up all the deets last week, but yeah, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating to watch. I was riled. I was angry again.
Yeah, I was
Mm.
furious too because we've already talked about and we picked it straight away. He's
Mm.
done therapy, he's done neuro linguistic programming training. He's, trained as a motivational speaker. He's studied Tony Robbins and every other
Ugh.
brainwashing cult type thing out there. And so he does keep his composure really well. And
Yes.
Holly has never had that training. She's talking from the heart with her
Mm.
passion
Mm.
and it's coming across like she's crazy. And this is the oldest story in the book. This has been happening
Yes.
for millennials.
Yes.
So of course he's going to come across as the person in the right because he's not the one flailing his arms around and getting upset.
Yeah, but it's like that
Yeah.
frustrates me so much because, why in some ways should he have composure in this except for to throw out some crocodile tears and pretend he's so upset about it all and this is, been such a dramatic impact on his life and yada yada yada, whatever bullshit he was saying. Um, but
Yeah.
to, for her to be emotional, why was that such a bad thing? Or why is it in general? It's just
I don't
frustrating to
know
watch.
because that would be me just because they didn't have
Mm.
Drambuie in a bar. Like, I'm like it doesn't take much for me to get emotional and start crying. But I think that's why Dom picked it up straight away. Like she could smell a rat a mile
Mm.
away.
Yes,
And
which is great.
yes, and she's probably been like Holly, like not necessarily because of her partner, but
Mm.
she's a passionate, emotional person that gets it all out. I can't see her sitting quietly blinking back to tears if she was upset about not having Drambuie in the bar.
So let's get into the situ from the very start.
Okay.
So Holly was getting prepped. She was getting ready. She was getting that lippy on. She was ready for action. She was looking glamorous. She was looking fierce. She knew she was going to war. She had stated that he cares more about his reputation, and she did want to, lay her cards on the table. Um, but yeah, when she got into that room after he'd already had the group therapy sesh, as you say,
Ugh.
to then have the women or, that she'd talked to a lot. Like she had all their, well, I don't know if they're pet names, but she spoke to them quite dearly and kindly, and they all, as you say, wanted that evidence immediately. And oh,
Okay, let's back up because there's an important topic.
go on.
The skin tight avocado bodycon dress I thought
Mm.
was strategically a mistake. What do you think?
My only issue was her, I would say, knicker line.
Yes, there was a
Like
Nicoline.
the knicker line, and that's just my bugbear. I'm not a knicker line for myself personally now. Not into the knicker line. So when I can see it and see it on TV, like no, somebody should have just whipped them off her.
Yeah, I thought I could probably guess that she was trying to do a bit of a revenge dressing. Like, look
Mm-hmm.
what you don't have now.
Yes.
But yeah, the fit wasn't right. The dress was too small for her.
Mm.
Or she could have gone underwear free, and there's no shame in that unless you fall over and spread your legs accidentally. I would have liked to have seen her in more of, say, a Marilyn-esque, but say a navy halter dress that flares out, with the pockets, that
Oh
look.
yes, yes, yes.
I think that would have been strategically better and would have elevated her, the appearance of her composure.
Mm. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do. It's hard. You want to show, all the curves and like you say, the revenge dress. But I don't know. Maybe she was hoping that she could just go in there and go, doesn't matter what I'm wearing, doesn't matter how I'm looking, they're going to listen to me. And I think she was feeling fabulous and she looked like she was feeling fierce. I think,
Yeah,
she's putting on that lippy and she was giving that well, like the camera, giving the mirror its all. But it just unfortunately didn't play out that way.
yeah. It didn't. She still looked great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
Mm,
she looked like a hideous cow or anything like that. I just would have a different look. Like if I was dressing her for that occasion, which was a pretty uncomfortable occasion, I would have put her in something else. But anyway, moving on. So Andrew just annoyed the fuck out of me, left, right, and centre. He kept using phrases like right out of the gate, right out of the bat, over and
yeah,
over and over. Like that's brainwashing, isn't it?
yeah. And again, referring to leaders, I might be jumping around a little bit, but he was saying, um, that's what a leader does. And he'd said that as well in their last argument. He'd said, leaders admit their fault.
I know.
And
Yeah.
I was going, who do you think you are? Who, but he's the leader of the cult. That's who he is, or his own vision of what a cult is, that one day he'll have this cult. But really, all these lines, it's just such bullshit.
And just really repetitive. Like I said, he's been trained. He was talking almost
Mm,
like a drill sergeant, like he was in the
yes.
army, repeating things over and over in slightly different ways.
Mm,
And then the sob story, like I feel like I've failed to try and get some empathy and sympathy from the group. They're saying just shit like, we love you, bro. Like, come on. Tamara
yeah.
apologizes to him. Olivia accuses Holly of being disrespectful at the commitment
I
ceremony,
know.
rolling her eyes allegedly. Like, how could you see Holly as the bad guy in that situation?
I know. How, like, I really wonder how much wine they'd had, or what maybe he does with those NLP, the training, like he says certain things and people just don't realize what they're saying back until it's too late or it's, a
Maybe.
few days later. Like, honestly, it's like, has he put something in their wine, GHB or something? God, I wouldn't put it past him.
Me neither. And I kind of got strange vibes that maybe the affair could be between Andrew and Tamara.
No
Well, I don't know. It's just,
way.
she just seemed to be looking at him with a lot of hope. She
Yes.
doesn't look at Brent like that. Um,
No.
so I hope that's not the case. I hope, for God's sake, Andrew, I hope you're gone for good. Like, he's not going to the commitment ceremony, we saw in the clip at the end. But if he reappears with some, like, other bride or something, like, holy fuck.
I think we'll take a flight to Sydney and just find him and just bring him out to, promise him some cult out in the country and then just dump him there. Um, but you know what? My other hot take is on, who's not coming to the commitment ceremony.
Yeah.
Did you see that Selin looked quite teary? And I actually thought maybe Anthony hasn't rocked up.
Oh, yeah, I saw her get teary, but I just thought it was from a sad story that one of the couples said.
Oh, no, I thought maybe Anthony's had enough, doesn't want to be tanned no more, and maybe there's threats of his ass getting waxed. I don't know, but
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
didn't
wonder.
I didn't get that vibe, but I mean, that would be interesting. But I was sort of thinking sad story, and that takes me back to last night where Selina's husband, who was he? Jack?
Cody? Jack?
Oh, Cody.
Cody?
Yeah, but remember, because again, like, they get me every time. You know how I'm on the edge of my seat at
Mm,
times. Like, there's a confession, and I'm like, great, tell me, tell me. I'm gagging for it. Because he was saying, oh, Selena knows that my father died when I was 15, but there's so
yeah.
much more she doesn't know. And all these stories are
Mm,
going through my head, like, was he part of organized crime and he was tortured
yes.
for ages? Or was he a serial killer and killed heaps of people, shot himself? Like, there's
Yeah.
so many big things that it could have
Oh,
been.
absolutely. And especially in Australia, people literally get away with murder.
Do they?
Oh, they do.
Like who?
All the time. There's lots of shows on it. We need to put that in the next podcast.
Oh, you mean unsolved murders, not
Unsolved murders, yes.
like not named people that are just walking around going, "Ha, I murdered, got away with it."
Well, possibly those bra boys you were talking about last night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they're telling people though. They're pretending they're not murderers.
Oh, maybe in your circles.
Yeah, true. I'm not at the Maroubra pub anymore, am I?
Put that on our hit list for where we're visiting when we go on our roadshow.
Oh, so Australia, like, you get away with murder more than other countries. Is
I
that?
think so. I think you've just
Ah,
got a lot more places to hide the bodies.
we have a lot of vacant land.
You
That's true.
do. And a lot of weird animals that, could possibly either have been the cause of the murder, even if it doesn't look like a, obvious gunshot or, I don't know, head wound. You have a lot of sharks and crocs and snakes and, yeah, just strange things here.
It's a very dangerous country.
It is.
Yeah, true. Too funny. Okay. What were we talking about
Anyway,
before that?
Cody's surprise, Cody's story,
Oh, yeah. So I was
Cody's
expecting,
confession.
like, it was sad that, like, heaps of people, like 5 people died within a matter of years in his immediate
Mm.
family almost, but it wasn't quite as dramatic as I was kind of hoping for. So I kind of pictured maybe Selin was hearing a story like that, like, a lot of members of his family died. They were talking about that on the couch, and so
Mm.
she's tearing up. That's how I saw that vision, not that Anthony had abandoned her. So
Oh,
we'll see. We'll see which one it
okay. We'll
is.
see. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
excited. Always. Oh, love a bit of drama. Love a bit of drama. Right. Where were we up to with these two?
Oh, fuckface was brainwashing people again.
Again. I did love when she dragged over the chair. Now,
Me too.
I thought that was classic because I was like, I'm not bothered picking up. If somebody could please offer to pick it up, that would be lovely. But in the meantime, I am causing a big scene and making quite obvious I don't care how loud it is. I ain't sitting beside this man.
True. And look, she made a lot of rookie mistakes. I don't think she's been in these really awkward, vicious
Mm-hmm.
circumstances many
Mm.
times before, because that's a bit of a rookie mistake and it makes you look a bit psycho. which is why
Mm,
I absolutely loved it. And I'm so glad that she did that. But it also proves she's not the sociopath, because a sociopath would not do that. They would be all calm and, oh, do you mind if I just, maybe if we all move along? You know what I mean? They wouldn't make a scene like
yeah.
that. So, in a way, it kind of proved that she was the good guy, but she kind of looked crazy, and it was awesome. And it was so noisy.
The mic was attached to the appliance again. We've got
Like the
this.
coffee. Yeah.
But again, why it's yeah, I'm baffled. Well, I'm not baffled, but it's just that when you show emotion, you do look like the crazy person and no one believes you, but you're just being an emotional human because you're hurt. While he's sitting there like a psychopath, just recounting his lines, going, "This is what I got to put up with all the time." Yeah, it's just frustrating.
Absolutely. I was totally on Holly's side. I would have liked to have seen a bit more support from the group, and I think that comes up
Mm,
in next episode or others. There was a point made by someone, maybe the experts, that Andrew likes to be in control and to feel superior,
mm,
and when he's not in control of a situation, he could start to unravel. And that was around the time she
mm.
was dragging the chair, because that was something like unexpected for him and outside of his plan. So I was really waiting for him to unravel, and I'm disappointed. I would have really liked to have seen him like totally lose his shit in front of the
Yes.
group, but that damn NLP training.
Oh, so controlled. God. And also the support of, like, I thought with Anthony, going in having the chat, but actually wait, we'll go back to when Al brought her in.
Oh, I love that.
How cute is he?
Oh, he is adorable. And from the get go, just to be like Andrews, he's already brainwashing me with my language. She was really talking to him like he was a child or a teenager. She put that
Mm,
really soft voice on, like, it was very much um, a motherly, the mum
yes.
voice. We all,
The mum voice.
the mum
Yes.
voice, nice and calm. But how funny was her role play of the kitchen seduction?
It was perfect. It's what he needed. It was just what he needed.
It's really good advice. He looked sort of like a deer in headlights,
He did.
confused and like, what do I do? How do I get out of this? So I don't know
Yeah.
if he was absorbing it, but the little role play with
Yeah.
directions and, it was like she was staging, 'cause she's an actress. It's almost like she was blocking a stage.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Like, she was just so sweet to him, and I think it was a good distraction for her as well, having him there. But he was just possibly confused by the thought of flirting.
I
Like, he
know.
normally just throws in, how do you say in Ireland, lob the gob. Do you know that
No, I
phrase?
don't. Please explain.
So you just lob the gob, which means to throw in your mouth at somebody, and then you just kiss them, and there's nothing else to it really.
Yeah, so
And
like
I
a
think,
party pash.
yeah,
Yeah, we do
yeah,
that. We just call it other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that was most of my dating life as well. So no judgment there. I mean, I've never done a kitchen seduction in my life.
But now it's on your list.
But how many people realistically are living in a kitchen with someone that you haven't shagged yet?
Oh, I know it's not easy.
I mean, who would it be? A flatmate? And they would be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get your hands off my hip." Like, it's a pretty unusual situation. Like, normally, if you were cooking together, you've met, you know each other,
Mm,
so it's more awkward for him, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Um, I'm waiting to see if he takes it up though next week. Let's see if he actually manages to pull out these moves, bust these grooves in the kitchen and Samantha, and see how she receives them. See if she picks up on it.
Oh, it'd be so funny because he'd get it wrong, of course. And she'll be like, "What? Have I got something on me? Get it off."
Why are you on top of me? Just
Yeah,
put the milk back in the fridge.
exactly. She'd bark an order at him. Oh, too funny. I love Al so much. And I
Oh, I
don't
do.
mean as a mother-son. I mean like
Mm.
as a lover.
Pack the bags. We're going to Sydney. We've got a lot of work to do.
We do. But Andrew just continued with his smug little face. And, smug face he does.
Mm.
He's been trained to just keep it there. Like there's just no movement, like a shark.
Yeah. Oh, it's just ridiculous. His eyes just staring. There was only one time I think he got a bit um maybe unfazed. And again, that was just by Dom when she was questioning him, about what's really been happening. And do you really understand how Holly's feeling right now?
Mm.
And he had nothing really.
Yeah, I would have liked more than that. But anyway, who goes over first? Anthony, because he's such a good guy. He goes and has a chat with her, and then bizarrely, you know, in the worst absolute strategy ever,
Mm.
Selin walks over with Andrew.
I know. I was like, what the hell is happening there? Honestly. What I did think was quite cute though, first with Selena and Anthony. Anthony was like, I'm going in to, chat to Holly. And he was like, that's his posh
I know
schoolboy accent.
his private school accent. I know.
Come join me when you can. And she did, but she brought that douche with them, so that was a little bit unfortunate. And they were chumsy, and that just also irritated me. But I do think maybe they were scared off of having, or she was feeling conscious of having side blindsided Anthony last week and having the group all almost turn against him, and she didn't want the same thing to happen or be called out for doing that again this week.
Ugh, maybe, but the great news, it was actually a good move in the end
Mhm.
because we got rid of that crazy narcissistic Texan, hopefully.
Oh, hopefully. Praise, please be, please, please be. Like she's got a lot of sage to burn tonight after that.
But listen to us, like it's like we've got PTSD, like we're on eggshells going, "Ugh, what if he comes back? Like I'm scared. Like, is he gone? Like I need reassurance that he's not coming back. Like that's how he can brainwash even through a TV. Like
Yeah.
we're like, no, like get away.
Yeah, no, he has to. Maybe I'll start searching him now. Find out where he is, where he's gone to. Make sure he's never coming back. Hopefully, maybe you could get his visa cancelled. Is
Oh, that would
that
be
allowed?
great.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any social media though. None.
Oh, now you see why?
Oh,
Because
yes.
everyone would have blocked him by now anyway.
Oh, he would have been crucified. Like
Oh,
he really needs to go back to the States and change his name and like, almost witness protection level.
mm.
But I mean, we're just so used to being able to stalk people on social media. It's unnerving when we can't. But he would have known that. This is part of his plan. Oh my God, it just goes on forever.
We did think he was already catfishing us, so maybe he has another personality already. Maybe
Oh,
that's why. Oh, so many things.
I know. I don't want to
But
give him this
anyway,
much attention.
I don't. This is the end of him. We're going to get some beautiful new brides and grooms in next week.
Yep, I'm excited, especially Jessica looks really fascinating. Dion, the one that I described as a slimy, corrupt fruit and veg farmer, oddly specific, I know, is nothing like that. He's just a boring son of a famous developer.
Oh,
I
okay. You've done
know.
your homework. I love this. Okay, I'll be ready for them walking down the aisle next week. But I'm glad he's not slimy. But yeah, a bit of drama would have been nice,
Did
but
you
not
hear the
Andrew level.
Kay, did you hear the part
Yeah,
about being the son of a famous developer? And you're saying
yeah.
they're not slimy?
That's not big in my part of the world.
Developers are pretty slimy, and I would guarantee that going back generations, they would have been corrupt fruit and veg farmers, and then they moved into development.
And then they took over all the land, and then they started. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah, they
Right.
buy up the land in the outer suburbs that are farms and
Yeah.
develop and get even richer.
And that's where they hide the bodies.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
Ah,
Australia is easy to kill people.
it is. See, you've got it all worked out.
How do we even have people in jail? Are they all just petty criminals?
That's all for show.
No felonies, just petty criminals. Stealing some bread, just like the old days. Ship them out to Australia.
Exactly. It's nice
Um,
and warm here. So
yeah.
you lied. No, it's not. It's freezing.
Oh, thank God. I grew up in Queensland. I can't tell you how disgusting it is. Why would you live there? You know, that pool in the backyard and the cheaper houses is not worth the sweat you can smell on cyclists at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, it's gross. Gross, gross, gross. No,
Yeah.
cold is good. Cold is good.
Okay.
But is there an episode tomorrow? Is it Sunday now?
Sunday. We are waiting patiently till Sunday.
So
If we're not driving up to Sydney between now and then.
we could do it. It's only 12 hours.
Yeah.
Um, so we're not going to meet the new bride and grooms until next week.
Yeah.
All
Next
right.
week is wedding night.
Okay, I can plan my life now. Thank you, Kay.
No problem. Here for you. Well, until then, darling. Ta ta.
Darling, ta-ta.